I'm going to show you how I make cords for my crochet plant hangers. This method is super quick and easy once you get the hang of it and looks much nicer than a regular chain. First, you need to decide how long you want your finished cord. I'm using the length of my arm as my measurement. You're going to need 3 times that measurement in the yarn that you're using. At least that's true for this yarn, which is an 8-ply cotton yarn. You might need more for thicker yarns. Once you've tripled your final measurement, you're not going to cut the yarn here. You're simply going to add a slip knot at that point. So you will have one end of yarn attached to the ball and one long tail that's 3 times the length of your finished cord. I'm adding 5 cords to the corners of this plant hanger, so I'm putting my hook through the corner, then I'm just popping that slip knot onto my hook and pulling the loop through. Now for the cord. The first part is tricky while you get the tension right, but trust me, it gets easier. You're going to keep the yarn that's coming from the ball at the front of the project and keep the tail towards the back. Now take the yarn that's attached to the ball between your thumb and middle finger and wrap it anti-clockwise around the hook. Then take the tail end of the yarn and using your forefinger, wrap it clockwise around the hook. You should now have 3 loops on your hook. Then pull the last loop through the other 2 loops. Then repeat. Ball end anti-clockwise, tail end clockwise, pull 1 loop through. Ball end anti-clockwise, tail end clockwise, pull 1 loop through. And there you go. Basically, you just keep doing this until it's long enough or till you run out of that tail end of yarn. And when you do get to the end, just cut your other piece of yarn that's still attached to the ball and pull both ends through the last loop. Like I said, it might take a minute to get the right tension, but once you do, you'll be making these cords so quickly. And here's what my plant hanger looks like all finished. The cord does stretch a little, but not as much as a simple chain would. I love the thickness of these cords. There's lots you can make with them, like shoelaces or maybe a drawstring. So what are you going to make next?